Hi, this is Lloyd Lofton, and I want to welcome you to my journey. So, what journey am I talking about? I've had a lot of journeys in my life. I've been in the insurance industry for years. I've been a personally producing agent. I've been an agency manager. I've run my own brokerage. I've worked for an insurance company inside their home office, running their captive sales distribution with more than 2,000 agents. I've run call centers. And I have sold thousands of MedSup policies to seniors. I have trained thousands of agents and taught them how to sell Medicare Supplement and other senior products to seniors. And I did that because I thought that I had a good understanding and idea of what it is that seniors needed and wanted. I always called it predictable buying behaviors. So the journey I'm talking to you about today isn't the journey that I've had in the past. Although there's numerous things about that journey that I will include in this journey. The journey I'm talking to you about today is I turned 64. I am what I talk to the agents about as the target market. In fact, I look forward over this next year because I just turned 64 today. I was born in 1954. I look forward over the next year to see how agents and insurance companies market to me. And I wanted to share this experience with you so that we could go through this process together. And I'm guessing I'll have the same questions that you will have, and my experiences will be the same as many of you, or it will be different. And some of the decisions I make may be similar or different than yours, and some of them may be the same. Let me give you a little bit of background. I just said I turned 64. I am the target market, but I've actually been the target market for a little while. My wife and I have our own standalone health insurance plan. It's $2,000 a month. 3 years ago, I had a heart attack. I was at my daughter's house over Easter, and on a Saturday afternoon, I was downstairs. She brought me some ice cream. I felt this excruciating tightening in my chest. I call it like a tourniquet. Somebody was tightening a tourniquet in my chest. I couldn't take a full breath. I got up, I was sitting on the couch, and I walked around the downstairs, walked in the bedroom that was downstairs. This is in our finished basement. I eventually laid down on the bed thinking that if I just laid down and rest, it would go away, but it got worse. It got so bad that when I went upstairs to tell my wife, I could not walk up the stairs. I literally had to go on my hands and knees and crawl up the stairs and tell my wife, we have to go to the emergency room. I must have been ashen or gray when we got to the emergency room, and I had my hand on my chest like this. Because when we walked in the emergency room, the girl behind the counter, I don't know if she was a nurse or LPN or whatever she was, she stood up, picked up the phone, made a call, came around, and took me straight back. When I went back in the emergency room with my wife, they put me on a table, they gave me an IV, they asked me some questions. And I don't think the nurse actually, that was treating me, I don't think she actually thought I was having a heart attack. In fact, there was some conversation about whether it was gas or ulcers, or maybe she was just ruling things out. But they gave me a shot of a medicine to slow my heart down. And my heart stopped. I died on the table. And the reason I know I died is I remember her reviving me. I remember waking up, her knees on the side of the table, and she's doing the compressions on my chest. I see my wife standing in the corner with her purse wrapped around her and her hand over her mouth. Her arms wrapped around the purse and her hand over her mouth. That happened 3 times. I died on the table 3 times. In fact, the hospital was so small in the town my daughter lives in, they could not keep me there. They had to send me in an ambulance to the big city. And in the big city, they put a pacemaker in. And I went home 3 days later. Shockingly, I went home 3 days later. But here's a couple of things that I didn't think about when this happened. You know, you just trust the doctors, you trust the hospitals. I didn't ask what kind of pacemaker. I was grateful to be alive And I was grateful that they could put a pacemaker in and I would not have to go through this anymore. But I didn't ask what kind of pacemaker. I didn't even ask how the pacemaker functioned, and I should have. The second thing that I didn't think about doing is the cause of it. There wasn't a lot of conversation about the cause of it. I wasn't told that I had high blood pressure. I wasn't told that I had a cholesterol problem. They gave me no real medication. I left the hospital. My wife and I drove back from my daughter's house back down here to Atlanta, Georgia, where we live. And 11 months later, I'm sitting in my office and I had another stroke. In fact, over a period of 3 days, I had two additional strokes. I had 3 strokes altogether. Turns out that one of my arteries was 70% blocked. And I had never been put on cholesterol medicine. Turns out that the pacemaker I had put in was a cheap pacemaker, quote unquote what the doctor said. In fact, I even said to the doctor, did you miss the bedside manner class? A cheap pacemaker that didn't read out some of this information the doctor wanted, which is strange because I have health insurance. You would think they'd just give me whatever the best pacemaker is, but I didn't know to ask. So when I had the stroke, a coworker of mine came in the office, saw me sitting there, and I had the classic signs of it. My mouth was dropping. I couldn't talk, like words were coming out of my mouth, but I wasn't actually saying anything that made sense. I lost the vision out of my right eye. I couldn't move these 2 fingers in my left arm, and I couldn't walk. I got to the emergency room. They did different scans on me, and they ended up putting a stent in my brain back here. And over the next 6 months, this was 2 years ago now, over the next 6 months, I went to 3 different heart specialists. I went to a neurologist. I was put on all kind of medicine, everything from Eliquis to warfarin. I'm on about 6 different medicines now. And here's the thing. I didn't know what I should have been asking, and I didn't know what I didn't ask until I went through the experience. But here's what I didn't learn, and that is, now I've been in insurance for years, right? What I did learn is that what doctors say doesn't actually mean what you hear. For example, one of the doctors wanted to do a heart procedure on me. I've had 3 separate heart procedures since then. Wanted to do a heart procedure on me where they go in and they stop the heart. They put you to sleep for just a few minutes, they stop the heart, then they start the heart back up again. But the way that was phrased to me was almost as if I didn't have it done, then I could get worse in my condition. I thought the doctor was doing it because I medically needed it. I didn't understand, and I've been in insurance for years, and he didn't convey to me that this was an elective procedure. So not only do we have copays and deductibles, but we had to pay 30% of the cost of this because it was not a procedure that I medically needed. So here's the journey. That's just a few of the things that have happened coming up to me turning 64. I'm 64 now. And in a year, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to sign up for Social Security. I'm going to automatically be enrolled in Medicare. I'm going to opt out of Part B because I'm going to pause my Social Security. I'm going to work till I'm at least 70, maybe 75, knock on wood. And I'm going to get a supplement because 80% of seniors always get a supplement, MedAdvantage or MedSup. I'll probably get a Medicare supplement. And as we go through this next year together, I'll tell you why I'm going to do that. But I wanted to share this journey with you because I think that the same experiences and questions that I have, you're going to have. And I'm supposed to be an expert in this. I mean, I've trained thousands of agents over the years, hundreds of managers. I consult with insurance companies, all kind of agencies around the country. But being a patient yourself and now being the target market is different. So I look forward to sharing this with you. Make sure you put your notes or comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. I'm going to be following this religiously, and I'm going to do this once a week. Once a week, I'm going to make a video, and I'm going to share with you what's going on with me medically, insurance-wise. I'm going to tell you exactly what happens when I get marketed to by insurance companies, by broker-dealers, by agents. We're going to talk about the language they use, the scripts they use, the approach they use. We're going to talk about what's important to me as a patient and what they think is important as a salesperson. And we're going to share this journey together. Hey, I'm excited about doing this with you. I look forward to interacting with you. Again, write your comments or questions below. Share your experiences with me. I'd love to hear about it. And I'll talk to you every week over the next 52 weeks, and we'll see exactly what happens when you turn 65.